Hey guys, it's Leo and it's time to talk about episode 11 of TWINKLE PRECURE. What a ride we're in. This episode was the birth of the Twinkle Stick, and it was also Hikaru's time to reflect on who she is and start believing in herself again. Last episode we had one of the most intense Star Twinkle episodes, and in this episode the girls came back to Earth. And they were desperate because of everything that happened. They didn't really know how to deal with failure for the first time. But Hikaru, she was really feeling it because she was the one that asked for the girls, she pleaded for the girls to go to the space with her so that they could search for the Southern Cross. So when they hit Earth, she was desolated. She didn't know what to do. She didn't know how to deal with that. And well, I thought it was really nice that they're able to store the rocket in a capsule, and even Puruns can store his own UFO, I don't know how we can call that, in a little capsule as well. And so they had to run away because people were coming, and it was Madoka's father. We're very scared of him, just like Madoka and the other girls. I mean, he's onto them. And the nearest place that they could hide was Ryoji's planetarium. And when they got there, Ryoji was there. You know, the planetarium was closed, but Ryoji was there and he was able to see everything. And he quickly jumped into the girls' defense. That was very nice of him. And since the start, I thought that Ryoji actually knew what was going on, but that's not really the case. Ryoji, he didn't know, but he had like a hunch. And when the girls started talking to him about what's going on and how they're traveling to space, he didn't really seem that surprised. So I think that he had prior experience with space people. Maybe he already met aliens before, or he connected with them, like maybe trading some kind of letters or messages throughout some different way that we don't know now. But he was not that surprised, you know? And so he was able to know that Lala's an alien together with Puruns and Fua, and he helped protect them. That was very nice of him. I really like Ryoji as a character. And then at the next scene, we were able to see Hikaru reflecting and thinking about what happened to her. And, you know, he was the one that made the connection between the Southern Cross, the constellation, and Hikaru. Because people watch the Southern Cross for guidance, but not only that, they see their dreams, they see a different future, a bright future, a different thing in the Southern Cross. And that's exactly what Hikaru does in basically every single situation of her life. She is always able to see a different point in everything. And that's a very nice thing to be. Like, I want to be like Hikaru someday. I feel like when we get older and we become adults, we kind of lose that. And, you know, I would like to be exactly like that someday. That would be very enriching. I think that my life would be way more positive than it is. But yeah, I think I'm learning with Hikaru. I'm going to try to learn even more. So Hikaru was able to see, to understand that she is a point of guidance, because she is someone for people to look up to because of her ways, because of the way she acts, because of the way she sees life. And she was down. She wasn't believing in herself at all. But after that, I think she started reflecting a little bit on herself and in what she's doing. At the same time, we see the Not Raiders acting a little bit more together with Iwan. And Iwan had a plan of creating a Not Raider using 3 villains. But she didn't really want to be a part of it at the start, so Bakenyan would be there. But Bakenyan took a step back and said, look, my powers are not going to match yours, so I'm not going to be part of it. And then she volunteered herself. That's something that I found really interesting. Iwan is a very interesting villain. I don't know, like from the 3 main villains, she's the one I like the least. But after this episode, I started liking her more. I mean, she's totally nuts. Like, she didn't even flinch. She wanted to become part of the Not Raider herself. And when Kapard and Tenjo were feeling the pressure, she was laughing. She was just having fun with that moment. And I don't remember a villain, you know, volunteering herself like that to become the monster, because we had instances, we had seasons in which the villains became monsters, but they had to trade like parts of their existence, parts of their power, of their soul to become them, and they would suffer to do that, and they did it because they had no other option, or else the big boss would kill them or would punish them. I wanted it just to do it. You know, she wanted that, and she felt pleasure on it, and that's a nice thing. You know, that was kind of scary if you think about it, but at the same time it ended up being nice. So the monster started attacking the Madoka's father together with a team that was searching for aliens, and then they ran away. Madoka's father was the only one that stayed behind, and the girls quickly jumped into action to save them. But actually, Hikaru hesitated a little bit to transform. She hesitated a little bit, and then she thought, okay, we need to do it, and then she did it. This episode was a focus on Hikaru, and I actually thought that she was going to have like a separate transformation, but in the transformation scene itself, we had a little bit more focus on Hikaru's transformation. It was not evenly distributed between the four of them like it usually is in group transformations. That was a nice touch, but I hope that they can do this with the other girls as well, not only her. So, okay, the girls jumped into action. Puduns saved Madoka's father. I love when Puduns uses his powers. I love it. He is, oh my god, I love Puduns. And so the girls quickly jumped into action, but they were quickly defeated. The three girls, apart from Hikaru, Cure Star, they used their powers with the pens, but even that wasn't enough. The Knot Figure was way too strong. They could withstand their powers, and so there wasn't much they could do. And so they were defeated really easily. I mean, Hikaru tried to punch. It was nice, you know, I like when she uses the star as a platform for her to jump. That's one of the nicest things. But, you know, it was clear that it wouldn't be obvious. It was a very uneven match. The Star Twinkle girls, so far, they've been pretty strong, but I don't know. I feel like now that the monsters are becoming stronger and more elaborate, they didn't keep up with that, and even with the pens. So they needed something else. They needed a new surge of power to defeat them. And before the actual surge of power, what happened was that the villains were able to share what they are and who they are, where they come from a little bit. And that was very interesting. If you notice, at the start of the episode, the opening, the villains are not shadowed anymore. They appear, you know. We've had like lots of openings from the All-Stars movie. So now that the opening came back, we were able to see the villains, clear villains, not the shadow ones anymore. So the team is basically complete. We have the four villains, the big guy and the big master after them. I don't remember their names anymore. But yeah, so the three of them fought the Cures while Bakinyan watched, and Bakinyan is a very important part of this episode. I'm pretty sure, I want to comment some things on Bakinyan later. So, okay, so the first thing is that the Cures, they tried, you know, they did what they could, but Hikaru was the one that was left aside, and the villains, they noticed that she uses her imagination a lot, and they picked exactly at that point of her, because they said that her imagination isn't enough, and she doesn't have imagination enough. And that's a thing, because, you know, when we go to space, so far, every time we got to space, it was a colorful, happy thing. It was always very chilling and very, we had some little conflicts, like in the dog planet. Okay, we had a little conflict there, but they were able to resolve it quickly and easily and everything. But in general, their experience in space has been pretty positive, except for the moment they lost. But, you know, being in other planets, they were all very positive for them. And I feel like I think Hikaru was probably thinking that space is the perfect place and everything. It's all very colorful, it's all very good. But the villains, they didn't have good experiences in their planet. We were able to see that in Kapard's line and Tenjo's line. Kapart said they lived in the edge of space and there was nothing there, it was all darkness, and that's why it feels like, I think that his planet was raided, and so he wants to do this with other planets. I mean, this logic is pretty fucked up, sorry. It's pretty wrong, but you know, I feel like they're giving a little bit more on the villains now. They're probably going to dwell upon that later on in the series, and I'm very excited to see that because the villains in Star Twinkle are very interesting. And so they tried to put Hikaru down. They tried to bring Kurostar down, they tried to bring her morale down, but the other Kuros, they didn't let her. And let me just say, I cried with that moment because the girls started talking about Hikaru and how Hikaru is important to them and how Hikaru changed their lives and how Hikaru is changed who they are. And Hikaru changed a lot in Kuramiyuki's life. I mean, she is the reason Kuramiyuki became a cure. She is the reason everything is the way it is now, because Lala had her life changed completely because of Hikaru. I mean, Hikaru was the one that summoned Fuwa to Earth. Madoka had the same feeling because Madoka was the one without friends, without a normal routine, a normal life, and Hikaru was the one to bring her to Earth. Not literally. And then I feel like Soleil, Elena's life was already okay, and the reason she became a cure was not because of Kurostar, but you know, she was able to acknowledge Hikaru's importance into the girls' lives and into her life as well, because you know, Hikaru is always the one that's pushing them forward. You know, she's always the one that helping them create a new rocket, travel to space, whatever. And so with that, they were able to have like this big surge of power, and the Twinkle stick was born. The Twinkle stick, the stick itself is really beautiful. I am in love with this stick since the first time I saw it in promotional images, but in the episode itself, like in the actual power animation, it's really beautiful. And I like that the animation is very fast. It's not a long group attack. It's a fast one. I liked it a lot. It's a very beautiful move. I liked that all of the girls had their moments with the stick. The Star Twinkle, Miyuki Twinkle, Soleil Twinkle, and Celine Twinkle. They were all very beautiful, and then they used Southern Cross Shot, which is the power, and it looks really powerful. The villains were able to be defeated, and the Cures almost got the Taurus pen, the Aries pen. The Taurus pen was retrieved. And it's nice that the princess had her little moment. We were able to see what happens to the princess when the pen turns into a dark pen. And when they were going to get the next pen, Bakinyan appeared and he didn't let them get them. And I feel like Bakinyan is really growing in importance every single day. We don't see him acting at all. He's always on the backside. I think that he's testing the Cure's powers. He is actually trying to notice things about them. And he's a cat. Who else is a cat? That we know is a cat. I mean, I'm not talking about Kura Makaran. We are talking about our next guest for the Star Twinkle team. And in this episode, I didn't notice that before. Bakinyan has blue eyeshadows. Is that shadow that he put here? I don't know. I don't know much about makeup, but he has blue eyeshadows. I'm gonna call it eyeshadows, but it's right here. They're blue. They're light blue, just like the possible Cure Cosmos color. Maybe. And then we thought that everything was going to be fine in this right at the end of this episode, but no. Madoka's father got the girls after the battle, and they were already in their civilian forms. They weren't in their Cure forms, but they didn't really know what to do. They didn't really know what to say to him. And then someone else came, and it's a cliffhanger to the next episode in which the girls are going to act, and that director that Hikaru talked about in the past episodes is going to be the one. And he is very crazy, just like Hikaru, and so that's why people think he's an alien, I think. And the girls are going to act with him, and I have no idea why he got there right at the time Madoka's father was there. But, you know, it's Precure, full of surprises, Star Twinkle, full of surprises. I am in awe after this episode because it was really good. It was very, 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 very good. It was powerful. It was beautiful. It was emotional. The new power is amazing. Star Twinkle is delivering and I am loving it. Anyways, guys, that was my view on episode 11. Please leave a comment with yours. Let's keep our talk in the comment box below. Thank you so much for watching and until next time, bye bye.